In astrology, Venus shows our love style. It shows what we value and what we find pleasurable and attractive. So, if you're wanting to know how someone is in love, you want to look at their Venus placement. So, for today, we're talking about Venus in the sign of Libra. So, this is an especially strong placement because Venus rules Libra. So, we have Venus in its natural home here. So, that does add a certain level of natural beauty and grace to these individuals. They are generally very socially adept and even popular in some senses. Um, they definitely have like a natural aura of peacefulness and, yeah, grace with them with this. And it is actually common, and I've seen this in quite a few women with Venus and Libra, that they actually work in the beauty industry. Now, of course, this is just going to be in some cases, but in some cases, yeah, their love of beauty can go so far that they actually work in beauty, doing hair or lashes or makeup, or even if they don't actually do this as a career, they usually spend that extra time and effort into their appearance. And it's not really coming from a conceited place, it's more just like people with Venus and Libra really value beauty. And it's not from a superficial sense, it's actually like these people are just naturally peaceful and harmonious, and so they like to create a harmonious environment, starting with their own physical appearance, but they can also be very into like decorating and making sure the home is like a peaceful place. Although these people aren't like the homebodies like Venus in Cancer, it's not like that, but they just like to be surrounded by beauty. And they also can be very put off by people who are unkempt or like not putting themselves together well. Like, it would be very rare, not saying it's impossible, but it would be very rare to see a Venus and Libra person in sweatpants, like with their hair in a bun. Like, that's not the vibe, guys. Not that it would never happen, but they usually are not like that. And it not just for that type of physical appearance, they can judge people for being like too Aryan in a sense, like too like blunt, or verbally just not pleasant. They don't like to be around people who are, yeah, just not pleasing to the eyes and to the ears. So this placement is very interesting. And usually, I actually have seen love seem to work out well for these people. Not that they don't go through heartaches and heartbreaks, they absolutely do. And some of the people from my generation have Venus and Libra square to Neptune and Uranus in Capricorn. My Uranus is in Aquarius, but like the people a little bit older than me, yeah, it's square to Neptune and Uranus. But even still, this placement seems to walk out on top of things, and then like they always have a belief that better love is around the corner, because we do have Venus in its natural place. So even when they go through heartache and they go through these normal human breakup issues, it's like they always keep believing in love. Like, they never let that experience make them become jaded, and they can sometimes move on even rather quickly. We have Venus in a cardinal sign here, like they're ready for what they know they deserve. So yeah, it's very cool to see people with this placement. They are very beautiful, usually in some way, even if it's not directly physically. They work well with people. They are the natural diplomats, peacemakers. They would do really well to work in some type of profession helping the public. that is where they naturally excel. Now, men with this placement, like a woman who is all of those things, they want a woman who they can take out in public and show off. Now, this sign isn't known for showing off in like the Leo way. It's not about extravagant displays of all of this, Leo stuff. It's more just like they want to mingle and they want to socialize. Like this Venus placement is actually one that enjoys socializing along with the other air sign Venuses, unless we have like a hugely water chart. Otherwise, people with Venus in the air signs value and love getting out there for these light-hearted social exchanges. Like the image I'm getting with Venus and Libra people is like going to like the fancy ball and like the banquet and like these kind of parties. This is where it's at for them. And they value fashion and looking a certain way too, although it's not as extravagant, like I said, like with people with Leo energy. They definitely have a certain amount of class with them. And it's a beautiful sight to see. Actually, many social media influencers have this placement because that is just kind of right up their alley with Venus in the sign of Libra. Now, where this placement can struggle is because they value peace and harmony so much, they can be the people pleaser. They can be the person who sweeps things under the rug, and maybe in their relationship they look the other way at times to just keep the peace. So if we are seeing a Venus and Libra person in an unhealthy relationship, it's usually for that reason. They just don't want to face those things that are not pleasing to them, and they would rather focus on other things. But interestingly enough, they actually can have a pretty good judgment, unless they have Venus squared to Neptune, like I mentioned earlier, or conjunct to Neptune if they're part of that generation. But they actually have a pretty good judgment about people, and they don't involve themselves easily with just anyone usually. So they don't as much find themselves in that place where they're in the wrong relationship, because something that's not often talked about in this placement, Venus and Libra, is that they actually have like a more conservative nature, more than the other Venus and the air signs. They have a high standard for themselves, and they generally can have some pretty good judgments about people. So they don't often end up with the wrong person as much as other people. Now, I'm not saying that they don't have to go through their own soul lessons and relationship lessons. They definitely do. But there is just like a natural lover with this placement where they generally come from a good place in their heart. And although they can be more lovers on the mental level, like they are not the most emotional lovers, they do have a very high idea of love. They have high ideals, and they really strive to achieve that kind of dream relationship romance that is like fairy tale, and they often do get it. And they can be very artistic as well with this placement, very visual, like I said earlier, maybe gifted with design, and definitely gifted socially. So it's a beautiful placement to have. Thanks for watching. Love you guys.